Well, hey, how's it going out there in Facebook land and YouTube? I'm happy to be on YouTube, and this is a great night. It's Monday night, and we are going to talk about Halloween. It's coming up, and you know, I'm pretty much it's my favorite holiday. So of course I have to have my Halloween shirt on, and it says "Happy Halloweeny." She's walking her little weenie dog, so it's cute. Anyway, it's glow in the dark also, because shirts are always more fun if they light up or glow in the dark. Doesn't matter. Either way, it's fun. So now I'm gonna share my show because I would love it if a bunch of people came and joined me. We're going to talk about some Halloween stuff. And, the other day we were discussing that Halloween was actually started in Ireland. So, but that doesn't surprise me. And, a lot of Irish folks came to live here. So they brought their traditions and things with them. And so, yeah, that's one of the things. And, All Hallows Eve has been celebrated for a long time. I think the Druids probably celebrated All Hallows Eve. It's what is it? It's
Sam.
well, Sam Hain says Sam. Yeah. So yeah. So anyways, yeah, but that's I think that is right here, isn't it? Anyhow, gotta go to Facebook where I will then go to my page or
right now,
wherever it is. Okay, that guy's he's all right. I mean, there's about a dozen of them on there, and they all talk about how to identify whether or not he's using you or whether or not he's doing whatever. So, but they're some of them are on the up and up. I think that they got good advice. Maybe not all of them, but let's see. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna there, and I'm gonna okay. How about over here? And then no. How about here? No, I'm not there. Alrighty, I don't know what the deal with this is. How about if I go to here? Haha. There's always a way around. If you can't get in the front door, go around to the back door. Geez Louise. Check out a side door maybe. So it's all good. And there's my show. So I'm gonna share it to some people because I'd like them to come and join me. Come join me for spooky fun. I speaking of spooky, I met up with the spooky crew the other day, last Wednesday, and they are doing Fabo over in England, and they are investigating and doing a lot of stuff over there. So that's pretty cool. And there we go. I've shared it. And then I think I can share it to people. I guess in a group, on a friend's timeline. It seems a little like just walking in to someone's house that you're not super familiar with, but you just walk in anyway. And that's kind of like posting my stuff to someone else's wall. I would feel that way. So, hey Howie, how you doing? I'm gonna show your comment. And so what what I have here with me today is Bob. No, I don't. Bob has left the building. um, oh, I imagine he'll come back. But I also have. Oh no, there's real Bob. He was just in with the fake Bobs, and I couldn't see him. Yeah, so he's right next to fake Bob. I had fake Bob first, and then I ended up manifesting Bob, and so that's awesome. And then we have in the corner there we have my little girlfriend. It's it's Witch Barbie. I have a couple of different ones, and then I have like there's a big witch out there too, which scares the crap out of people. They think it that she's haunted, and she very well could be. I wouldn't say she doesn't have a soul. You know, I've had her for a long time, and she's seen many things throughout the years, and she comes out every season to grace my home again. And she's quite gorgeous. I think she's been on camera before, and I'm sure she will be again before it's before our season's over. So, because it is the season of the witch. If I could get away with it and not get copyright, people all up in my business, I would play it for you because it's an awesome song. So go listen to Donovan's Season of the Witch and see if that doesn't get you feeling pretty groovy for Halloween season. So anyway, I shared the show. So there's oh wait, I didn't share it in the groups, which I feel like I can get away with the groups, some of them, especially the ones that I started. Yeah. So I'm sharing that now. And so, by witches, for witches, pretty much they can't complain about, witches posting things there. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, yes, I shared. And then I also wanted to share to someone in particular, Santa Claus. Santa is, one of my subs, and he's, a great guy. I mean, he's Santa Claus for Pete's sakes. And so, I try to always like go out of my way to do nice things for him and stuff, and just make sure he has all the stuff that he can, follow my podcasting. Because Santa Claus don't have anything else better to do than watch my podcast. Oh, pardon me. I'm sitting next to the fire. Could possibly be just a bit smoky. Anyhow, we can always open the door a crack and it gets the draft going. So, yeah, it's all good. Thank you very much. Magical beings open my door and get my draft going and then close the door shortly after. Oh, it's fun. And I have to say thank you to DJ for the awesome haircut. It's a good haircut. I'm digging it. It was super simple. I combed it and I went like that. And I put a little hairspray on it, and it was just awesome. So thank you, DJ, for saving my hair, because honestly, I was kind of tearing it up. But that's why I'm letting it grow a little bit more. And so it's gonna have it's got these little streaks of white in my lavender. So there you go. Well, at my age, you're just glad to still have some hair. Yeah, I'm not in need of any ladies' row game. It's good. Okay, so tonight we're talking Halloween, and if you ever wondered why we do some of the things we do, it's mostly because you're trying to scare off evil, or you're trying to invite in the good. Um, I think we are going to have a seance. That's right, a seance. We're not going to do the Ouija board though. I think we're just gonna try and, commune with the spirits and listen and see if they have anything they want to, communicate to us, and um, just, be open to any messages that they would like to send us. Um, I'd be open to that. I'm totally down with it. And, if you're going to do things like that, Halloween is, of course, one of those times that the veil is very thin. And so it's probably not as difficult to uh, get things to come, you know, make themselves known to you. So, that being said, go into this seriously. If you're going to really do it, but do it seriously. I mean, take it seriously. It's not a joke and it's not a game. It's something that, could have a lasting impact on your soul. And I mean, if I sound like I'm a bit dramatic, well, things can always go bad. So just keep that in mind. Keep some sage, do a little sage, do some crystals, have them around. Be sure that you're in the right frame of mind. Don't go into it depressed. Don't go into it with any negativity, because you'll draw in negative energy and negative spirits if you go into it negatively. So just think positive, think happy thoughts, think they're going to give you, some good message, and they very well might. And, think, just, envision a positive experience, and just hope for the best. And as far as communication goes, I mean, worst case scenario, you'll get to hold your friend's hand, and sit quietly while candles, gently burn in the, on the table. No, probably not. Actually, darkness. I think total darkness is kind of what you really want. So, and no crystal balls. I thought it sounded fun to have one, but it's not necessary, and probably, not worth the bother. I've tried scrying before. It's a bit difficult. You really, really have to be in the right frame of mind and really have to let yourself um, fall into that meditative state to be able to get there. It's a bit difficult, and I have only kind of done it what I would consider once. I've tried, several occasions, but not really anything I would consider successful, except for the one time. So, but yeah, that's it's an interesting experience, and I would say do it, but like with everything, respect it. Respect the things that you're doing, and respect the fact that, even though you may not think that there's really anything out there, go at it as though there is. Only because then, you can err on the side of caution. So just, don't be reckless on Halloween. I mean, you want to live to see November 1st without, some creepy entity hanging out with you. Like, really hanging out with you. Yeah, they're no good. You really want to, like, go into it with the right frame of mind so that something like that can't kind of glom onto you, because that's the last thing you need. If you're already in a bad state of mind, you really don't need some kind of entity, attaching itself to you. And I've heard of that on some multiple occasions that can happen. So please be aware of that, and you know, uh, try to do things that'll protect you. And then not only just thinking happy thoughts, but then eat things that are healthful. Like I always think of grapes. When I was a kid, the town did a little haunted house, for just little kids, and it was always the peeled grapes were eyeballs. It was just so funny because you'd stick your hand in the bowl. Ew. Yeah, that's his eyeballs. Oh, you know, it's fun. And I think his brains were spaghetti. Oh dear me. So anyway, Barbie, she's gonna take a break now. But she's not gonna go too far away. My mother used to buy the Barbies for me. So Bob. Here's another black cat. Um, yeah, they thought black cats were evil because they were associated with witches, and originally witches were thought of as satanic and evil, which is really not the case with modern day witches. I no more worship Satan than I I don't know. Yeah, not a Satan worshiper. I mean, I acknowledge there's, Satan, and I kind of acknowledge him in sort of a historical standpoint, like, he got kicked out of heaven. So, but he was an angel at one point. So, I think things get skewed at times in history. uh, Lilith. And so I kind of take a lot of it with a grain of salt because a lot of it was written a long time after uh, the actual events took place. So, you know, it's all, it's nowadays, it's just all in good fun. I've had this for a long time. Black cats, I've had a thing for black cats. Um, Even before I acknowledged my witchiness, I kind of, I sort of had some of the behaviors of, like picking up a rock for no apparent reason, or, growing herbs in my garden that, tend to be used uh, in spells and whatnot. Of course, they also make a fine outstanding soup. But yeah, Bob's my guest tonight. He's such a great guest. He really is. He he won't tell you his story, but uh Bob was with the Mexican mafia. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I saw him in some photographs at one point, and yeah, I think so. But like right before he came here, I think he was in Chicago with the Teamsters. And I think he knows something about where Jimmy Hoffa is, but I'm not 100% sure. So I just kind of, piece things together that I overheard, or like that I saw, around Bob. And yeah, he's definitely got a jaded past. And so, he looks pretty mild mannered right now, but I think Bob's kind of a badass. Oh, but so we don't want to really press him too hard, and he might go off. So we're just gonna like let him rest. My hat. Here we go. You know, uh, witches throughout history have always had some kind of kooky hats, usually pointy hat, and there we go. The the witches, a lot of them are depicted as crones, which I'm older, but I would not consider myself necessarily a crone, maybe yet. Crones don't look this good in flashy hats. Oh, golly. I do like my hat. Um, I do like witchy hats, for sure. They're nice. They keep, the sun off of you, excessive sun. And in rain, they're good if it's going to rain. And they're good, just in general. Keeping smoke out of your eyes, or, you can have a private conversation underneath the hat with someone. I've done that before. It's kind of fun. Anyway, so there's the hat. Let's see. What was I was going to tell you the history of the witch's hat. So, I always liked the Wicked Witch of the West. She's just your iconic witch. And she um the whole water thing, well, what they actually did was they would tie you up and throw you in the water, and if you floated, then of course you were a witch. If you sank, then you were innocent, of course, but still dead at the bottom of the lake or stream or whatever. So yeah, witches in water kind of have a bit of a jaded past. So anyway, I was going to tell you guys about the witch's hat. Witch, WIT, witch hat. Here we go. Of course, they're showing me a bunch. The sorting hat. That was a great hat. As far as like iconic movie hats. Could you get me, Sam, the one that is on the little headband in my room? Would that be okay, please? Could you do that? Samuel. Thank you. Oh, could you get me the little hat on the headband?
Huh?
The hat that's on the headband, the witch's hat that's in my room. Purple. Could you get me that?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Forgot that one. So, yeah, I'll show you yet another witch's hat. I do like my witch's hats, and I have several. I like this slouchy one. That's cute. So anyway, but yeah, if you're gonna be a witch, you gotta have a cool witch's hat, and this is just a lot. Oh, here you can make your own. You can make your own hat. I have one that's got a spider on it, but costume hats. Let's say, let's do this. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's it, the Wicked Witch of the West. But anyway, one theory is that.
About the whole bag.
Oh, no, I just it's on a headband. It was on the lampshade.
The lampshade.
It was hanging on the lampshade with the devil's horns. Yeah. Well, that is a nice hat.
Look at the Indian Jones.
He's bringing me a lot of hats, but not my headband with the hat on it. So, anyway, so one theory is that the image arose out of anti-Semitism. In 1215, the Fourth Council of the Lateran issued an edict that all Jews must wear identifying headgear. A pointed cap known as a Juden hat was what they were wearing. So yeah. So let's see. There's actually a reason why they wear pointed hats and fly on brooms. Well, you fly on brooms because it's cheaper than going business class. And brooms bring you positivity. Yes, thank you so much. This is the one. Okay, so now I'm going to trade out hats. Here's this one. Okie dokie. And then now I have this other hat for you guys. Let's see here. Ready? There we go. Let's see if we can. There we are. There it is. The little dinky hat. So anyway, yes, you can have all kinds of witch hats. And they are said to have been pointy. Well, let's see. Which costume holds a deeper meaning? And the pointy hats and broomsticks aren't just things that they pulled out of the closet. First known witch's outfit is nudity, as in no clothes at all, which was depicted in paintings. But years later, the look evolved due to political allegiances and Hollywood's spin on these magical beings and sex magic. Yeah, that's right. And it works. That's some powerful stuff there too. I'm telling you what. Let's see. The first people known to wear a big cone-shaped hat are from a lost city in China. Mummified remains from the quote-unquote witches of Subeshi, sisters accused of practicing magic in Turfan between the 4th and 2nd centuries BCE, were found with pointed hats on their heads. Ages, pointed hats were worn by Jews so they could be identified. And unfortunately, Satan. Okay, so they were actually associated with Jews and unfortunately Satan. So, yeah. Participation in Kabbalah rituals had people believing that Jews held magical powers from making a deal with the devil. And in the 1200s, Jews in Hungary were required to wear this specific hat style to signify their religion, the Juden hat. So that was, something that was when they kind of started wearing the pointy hats. So, somehow, despite the fact that the Quakers of the mid 1600s to 1800s didn't wear pointy hats, the style is still strongly associated with the group as well. Puritans in America believed the Quakers were magic practitioners who danced with the devil during the nighttime hours, and their hats, which were black and included wide brims, were part of the controversy. I find this kind of funny because guess who was a Quaker? Richard Nixon. if you're old enough to remember Richard Nixon, he was a Quaker and he was a real straight arrow kind of guy. So I can't imagine Quakers being thought of as like wild rebels. Oh dear. So anyway, um, yeah, and so there in medieval Europe, women who brewed beer at home also had the reputation of being witches. These alewives were suspected of being herbalists, which was associated with magic at that time, but more importantly, they wore hats similar to the classic witch hat. Any woman who defied the patriarchal norms of the 17th and 1800s was pretty much considered to be a Satan worshiping sorceress. And since they worked in a male dominated profession, they received major shade. Yeah, you think? Misogyny. It's been going on for millennia and it will probably continue to go on, but you know, let's put the kibosh on it any chance we get. And so, anyways, so the hat, throughout history, it wasn't widely accepted as essential witch wear until The Wizard of Oz. And that was in the 1900s. The movie was in 1939, which I found fascinating. It was so vivid and so well done, and just everything was so great. And this was like in the 30s, you know? I mean, they barely even like mastered color, film. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. And this was the same year as Gone with the Wind. Can you imagine? Gone with the Wind and Wizard of Oz, same year. And those are two completely iconic films. Incredible. Oh, speaking of films, good films, iconic. Demon Hunter. It's a David Espinosa and Craig Aaron's film. It's an independent film, and it is now streaming free of charge on YouTube. So go check it out and check out the rest of their films as well. Love and Quarantine, and also oh, there's just a ton. The Crumbs, and it's good stuff to watch now. See during this season. So I think they have several movies that you'll enjoy watching that are fit for this season. So go check them out. And I will try to remember to post a link to their YouTube as well. So the pointy shoes, which I sometimes wear pointy shoes, but just for fashion's sake. Court jesters and elves, but from the 14th to 16th centuries, pointy shoes were quite the popular fashion trend before becoming controversial. The church eventually began to associate them with sex and sin because they had a phallic appearance. So, go figure. Anything that even is remotely fun, you got to put the kibosh on it. It's got to be sin. Oh, Lord. And then, let's see. Oh, it's thought they prevented people from being able to kneel while praying. So they became known as Satan's claws. I can't help it. Was it Satan? Oh gosh. Dana Carvey does it so much better, but I couldn't resist. So anyway, so it's the tie to Satan really that got the witches thrown in the mix in the first place, because honestly, they weren't the ones first wearing the hat. They weren't the ones first wearing the shoes, and really none of it. And so, but because of, Hollywood and the fact that, back in the early days, they used to think that witches were Satan worshipers, and that they were evil, and that they would dance naked under the moon with their familiars who could shapeshift into men or cats or whatever. And so I'm not even gonna try and deny that I did that, but I don't know that all the rest of them did. That was just me. Mm. And that was just last weekend. Oh, Lordy. And so, the cloak and cape, of course, who wouldn't wear a cloak or a cape? They are so nice and warm and toasty, and you can carry stuff in them, and you can kind of protect yourself from the weather. And I mean, golly, you'd have to have a screw loose not to enjoy wearing a cloak or a cape. I have one myself. It's German and it's vintage. It's very nice, and it's wool. It's waterproof. It is one heck of a garment. And you know, hats off to my Aunt Pat. She always had great taste, and she knew good stuff. And she sent this cloak home, and it's been around since I can remember. I mean, probably 50 plus years. My grandmother wore it before me, so it's well made. When clothing is well made, it really will survive generations of people. So, let's see. Uh, Dracula, Bela Lugosi. He's the one that popularized the cloak. So, but I could see that he was very fancy. He looked pretty hot, and he was pretty exciting back in the day. And so then the broomstick is brooms weren't initially meant for flying. I mean, they actually had a very different use. um yeah, they actually were, and I'm just gonna say it, uh sex toys. Oh, Lord. It's just with sex magic, you can really generate a lot of energy for doing whatever spells or magic you're trying to work. And it's pretty powerful stuff. I mean, you think about it. Well, not too, don't think about it too hard right now. Think about it later. Um, when you're all alone. Bob Bob won't be thinking about it at all. He, started out when I first got him, he was ball bondage Bob. Well, then I took him to the vet, and he came back as bondage Bob. And, then I noticed him checking out Grinder and on my phone, and I'm like, what up, Bob? And it turned out he was bisexual bondage Bob. So, it's all good. It doesn't matter to us. So we love him. Yeah, except for he needs to stay off my phone and Grinder. You never know what kind of people you're going to meet on there. Oh, Lord. Okay, so back to the clothing of witches. And the brooms. Women have been, using brooms, to sweep out their houses too. And so, if there was a broom by the door, nobody really thought anything of it. And there's a broom by every door in my house. And I use them to sweep the negativity out of my house. You feel it brewing up in the house, just grab that broom and just start a sweeping. And before you know it, it's gone. No more negativity in my house. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm going to stick with that. And so you just have to, do what you can when you can, wherever you can. And so yeah. So yeah, it's the hat. And then so, let your freak flag fly. Wear your witch's hat. Don't be don't hold back. Don't be, concerned that people will think you're odd. Um, it's okay to be odd. Nobody said that we all had to be the same. Nobody said that we all had to look alike or that we all had to sound alike or dress alike or, think the same. We are entitled to be unique and we are entitled to be, um, as crazy as we'd like. And, if you want to wear a cloak, by golly, break it out and wear it. If you want to wear a feathery hat, break it out and wear it, Uh, life's too short to hold back on stuff like that. If it's something that you really want to do, you know? Not all of us are going to want to wear a flashy, feathery hat. But by golly, I sure did. And I couldn't be happier. Um, the dog's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Oh, but I'm not going to let that stop me for sure. And so, um, is there, well, I was going to talk a little bit too about cards. And I'm sure most people are aware, but some people might not be that what? Oh,
Firewood.
he's going to get wood. Oh, I like when Sam gives me wood. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. And I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to poke at the fire just a little bit. Got to keep her going, I do not have a cauldron overhanging my fireplace, but I probably should. And now that I have my little welder and stuff, I am going to probably be making some stuff like that. I definitely need to fix my fire grate. So that'll be one of my first projects that I'm going to do as a welder. Yeah. Well, we'll see about the welding. And I'm not sure how great I'll be at it, but, you got to try stuff. I mean, how do you know you're going to be bad at it if you never try? I did that to myself for a long time. I I thought to myself, gee, it must be really hard to row upstream in a kayak. Because all my friends, they always get, in the kayak, they go downstream. They have somebody pick them up and bring them back home again upstream. It must be really hard. Guess what? It's not that hard. They were just lazy. They just didn't want to do it. Imagine that. But it isn't that hard. And so I guess that's my message to all of you. If it looks good, wear it. If you haven't tried it, don't psych yourself out and think that it's too hard. If someone's going to give you wood, let them do it. And, look for meaning in life in every little thing, like, like a flower blooming, or just, the leaves changing. That's a good thing right now. It's beautiful. Mother Nature is coloring us a gorgeous picture right now, full of color and diversity and wonder. And get out and enjoy it. Be crazy and be creative, and don't be like Bob. Bob's kind of a bump on a log. Bob doesn't really no, he's a bump on a log right now, but he wasn't actually earlier. Bob was very active earlier. He was in and out of the house 50 times today. So he is probably a little bit tired. Bobby, hey buddy. Hey, it's almost time to sign off. You'd be okay with that? All right. Bob says it's okay. He's not terribly ambitious about podcasting anyway. I kind of had to, just set everything up around him. Otherwise, he'd have probably bugged out, by now. But yeah, I didn't force him into anything. I just sort of set it all up around him. Guess what, Bob? You're going to be on the podcast today. So, but he's just such a cute guy. He's a good kitty, and and I just thought, he's my familiar, so I better give him a little bit of airplay. So, because we talked about familiars on Magical Mayhem last week. Well, not last week, but the week before, and of course Bob, comes up. He's he's my familiar. And, familiars were thought to be able to shapeshift. So far, I have not seen Bob as anything other than a cat. But you never know. He could always, take on the shape of something else. I don't know. Not sure what he would want to be. I don't think he'd want to be a man because he's been neutered. So I'm thinking, man, probably not first choice. So, and I don't know, maybe, still be interesting, I suppose. That's the old joke, about the old lady. I'll tell you this as we, head out for the evening. This old lady, she got 3 wishes, So she said, well, I think I'd like to have, my youth back. I'd like to be young again, and look real hot. So poof, she was young and hot. And then she said, well, I need some money, I need money to go with this. So I want a whole bunch of money. So poof, she got a whole bunch of money. And then she said, really love my old cat, and I think, I'd like to have him for my companion. So can you make my cat into a handsome man? And so poof, the cat became a handsome man. And he says to her, now, aren't you sorry that you had me neutered? Yeah. So anyway, I always think about that joke, So no, Bob probably doesn't want to be a man. And so that'll end the podcast for this evening. But I'm just so glad that you guys have come to spend the time with me that you have. And I sure do enjoy coming and hanging out with all of you. So it's just been super. And I hope you'll join me again on Wednesday for it's what do we got Wednesday? We got Madam After Dark. That's right. Madam After Dark. And it's now Ask Madam's After Dark too, because it's getting dark earlier and earlier. But Madam After Dark is on at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can catch me on Skeleton Key or my YouTube, Madam Mayhem YouTube, which please go subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube and like some videos. I'd really appreciate it. And your support is always, never goes unnoticed, and it's always appreciated. And I would also mention Fridays with Nellie Mack, and it's Magical Mayhem with Madam and Mac. And you just never know what we're gonna come up with, but it'll always be timely, and it'll always be magical, and it will always be entertaining. So blessed be, and may all of you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you on Wednesday.